bro.
What's up, G?
What's up? What's been going on?
It's been a minute. Just been working.
Yeah? I see you, man. I see you. You on a plane or in like distant lands.
Yeah, I live on the plane. That's hectic, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, is that a deliberate move? What you doing?
Yes, mostly promotion, and just like introducing myself to new markets outside the SA.
Okay.
You know, but mostly just to push the album, you know, raise awareness, bridge the gap, obviously. While I'm
I got
doing
you.
that.
Okay. What do you find has been like just the reception, like to your stuff, like?
The reception is pretty dope, man. Surprisingly very dope. I mean, I expected Nigeria and I expect Zimbabwe to be very responsive because our artists work a lot with their artists.
With them, right?
It's like we've already bridged that gap.
Gotcha.
But in places like Germany, I didn't expect people to even know my name. That song. So
Crazy.
I perform there and I get that word-to-word type of feedback.
Yeah. And I tell you this, bro, the thing that always got me about you was that when I first heard you, I was just like, from where? Like, and I don't mean like from where geographically, I just mean like, where did this skill and talent come from? It's like, because it's not like, let me explain. Like with us, right, in my era, there's like, yo, you can point to 5 or 6 dudes who are nice. You feel me? You can go, yo, that dude was nice, that dude was nice. But in your era, right, and you know, I mean, this is nice. Yeah. I think that's why they call me for these things, because you know, Stogie T gonna say some weird. No, but I mean, at that level, and for someone so young at the time, you know what I mean? It was just like, where is this? Is this coming from a movement? Is this, you know what I mean? It seemed to prop up from nowhere, bro.
I think it's mainly because I wasn't looking up or keeping up with everybody else or every other artist that was around my age group. I was more focused on what the older guys were doing, the guys that were really doing it, like the T.I.s, the Waynes, the what's this, Juicy J, Jeezy, all those guys that have been doing it. So I was already looking up to people that weren't involved in this new sound where it's just like you say the same thing repetitively over and over again.
You see, I mean, I see a mirror in that as far as like, I used to think, you know, the only difference between me and Eminem was Dr. Dre. That was my, coming up, that was my opinion. I was like, yo, man, I swear, if I had a Dre, I'd be, you know what I mean? And
that's how you're supposed to feel.
Real talk. I was like, you know, I mean, it seems like with your kind of insistence or your kind of move towards moving your stuff outside the continent, it looks like already it comes from this base where you were like, look, man, I want to compare myself to the best in the world, right?
Exactly.
Globally.
Exactly. And I think that's what sets me apart from a lot of young kids that just seek inspiration from what's so close to them. That's like within their radar. And it's like, that's not good for you. That's not good for you as an artist and as a person. You have to aim way higher.
Yeah, man. You are what you eat, right?
Yeah.
Bless up. In my experience traveling, particularly in Europe and North America, sometimes the only times I felt like a professional musician is when I was outside the country, you know? Just the level of like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Professionalism, organization, you feel like that's still the same?
Yes, definitely, man.
Really? That's disappointing to hear, bro.
It's the sad truth. It's the sad truth, but when you step outside the country or when you go to those countries, it's like they work so hard on every single aspect that has to do with an artist. That means the branding, the way the artist carries themselves. They care about what the artist stands for.
Yeah, man.
Down here, it's just like
whatever goes.
Yeah, if you can record a song, let's go. Put it on TV, get you the interviews. They don't care about all that other stuff. And I think that alone, it just shapes the artist so much, man. And the professionalism behind the artist just puts the artist at the caliber.
Let's not talk about the past so much, right?
Yeah.
The recent past so much. But I mean, just as far as like how far the game has gone. I mean, you know, I'm pretty sure, you know, you used to see these kind of levels with like Kwaito artists or whatever, but with hip hop, it's kind of, this is very new now, you know. Even when you look at Nigerian artists, they used to eclipse our stars, you know what I mean? And now it's like, yo, it's kind of like toe to toe, you know.
It's a good thing. Well, it's definitely a good thing. And I think it's just because it's not only just about the music, I feel.
Okay.
I don't think it's just the music that's pushing SA so much and making it noticeable now. I think it's the drama. I hate to say this, but it's also just like the drama that goes on in our industry now.
Okay.
It brings a lot of attention back to hip hop. It brings a lot of attention from outside of like South Africa.
So you mean like little beefs?
Yeah.
You mean like relationship stuff,
all that type
private
of stuff,
life
the
stuff,
award scandals,
awards,
all that type of
right.
stuff. It just brings the attention back because all these other countries, it's not as if they're not doing as good as we are in terms of like the music, like sonically. They are. It's just that there's not that much going on out there for us to, luck into it.
Right, the story and stuff.
Yeah, and now I feel like South African artists are finally getting that. It's an entertainment business, so we have to be entertained.
Yeah.
And that's what's really bringing us up to it.
Right, they're becoming A-listers and
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Divas.
Yeah, divas. Look at him. He said divas. Check this out. So you know how movies and stuff is so forgiving of like actors who would do like a blockbuster, right? But then can also do like an independent like movie, right? Yeah, right. Or even to the theater, right?
Yeah.
And with hip hop, it's almost like, yo, when you cross that line, bro, when you get to a certain number, it's like, yo, you can't, we almost, your pass gets revoked, right? Or if you don't hit that threshold, you get relegated to this gutter, underground, whatever, you know what I mean? Is that still a thing? Like,
I say it is. It is still a thing, so long as you're like, if you're an artist that doesn't focus so much on impressing the kids, because the kids are kind of changing that now. The kids don't really care if you have mega hits anymore. I'm talking about here in South Africa. They don't really care. Like, as long as they can attach something to you, or they feel like they could relate to you, if your social media is like buzzing, or if you're just interested in interviews and stuff like that, you can still do as good as the guys that need to do trap songs just to make the numbers, or pop songs just to make the numbers.
Got you.
Yeah, so it just depends. If you have a solid fan base, you don't even feel that. You could be like on the same level, but doing it in your own, little universe.
I think that's the one thing I've seen that has changed and has made things kind of, is equalized things, right? Is like before, you kind of needed to have a hit, and you needed to be to even get the attention of a label or any.
I mean, it's because you didn't have a specific crowd that you were speaking to. You didn't have a crowd that was your own crowd that you had a conversation with. You were just making a song, hoping that it catches to everybody. Yeah. And right now, it's possible to have your own people that you have a conversation with.
I mean, that's incredible. You see, I mean, you see that with someone like, I'd say a youngster, right? Yeah. Where you're like, yo, this dude is like, he's got his own.
Exactly. There you go.
So even if it never happens like this, right? He will still be fine, right? That's crazy.
He never has to do the trap stuff. He never has to the pop. He doesn't have to do none of that. He can stick to his own lane, but he'll always have his people. Right. And he'll always do as good as everyone else, because
I mean, that's an encouraging thing, and I think obviously that's been brought about by the fact that anyone and anyone can broadcast themselves now, right? You got internet, you got all these things to kind of like tell your story, I mean, it's how a lot of us were introduced to you, you know what I mean? This idea of kind of like, yo, I'm gonna tell my own story is now going forward. I mean, you are a major label artist. You are you know what I mean? Like, how going forward, how does that change then for you? I mean, can you can you say certain things? Can you?
It doesn't.
And now I'm asking that question specifically for that 17-year-old who's watching, going, is this nigga gonna change?
Nah, it doesn't change, man. I'm still the same person.
Yeah.
If anything changes, it's got to do with me as a person. It's not an influence from the label or from managers or from corporates. It's none of that.
Come on, bro. You gotta move a little smarter, though.
Yeah, I do. But I stay true to myself.
Okay. But I mean, don't mislead them and be like, yo, I can't talk smack. You mean?
No, you can.
I mean, the beef. You probably have to you probably have to rethink a beef with Dr. Malinga again, right? Right, exactly. You see what I mean?
If I can put a twist to it, then no. As long as I can change it and make it benefit me, It's all gravy.
I feel you. I feel you. All right. Here's the thing. I mean, there's been this big kind of, and I'm sure you've noticed, there's been this big friction or fracas, right, between old and new, right? You see it with, something like Joey, what's his name? Joe Buttons and Migos, maybe a little bit of Drake and Pusha. Definitely a lot of like old and new kind of, where people are like, yo, do we accept this new stuff? Do we, you know what I mean? And, sometimes I'm embroiled in one or two things just as far as like, and I think it's...
I know you didn't mention yourself amongst those people.
No, what do you mean?
You sort of were like a Joe Budden at some point.
You see,
at some point.
Okay, so check this out. So I'm glad you said that, but I think those kind of comparisons, right? Sometimes they're unfair and just kind of misplaced, right? Because I need people to understand a certain thing, right? Just on a personal level, just on a human level, right? Imagine you are like, Cristiano Ronaldo, right? And you've done really well, people really laud you, whatever, but yo, time's running out, right? It's like there's a new crop, there's a new, you know what I mean? And finding your place can be, can fill you with a lot of anxiety, right? And I'll play devil's advocate and speak for a lot of artists who knew this thing to be a certain way. You feel me? It had a certain sound, it had a certain look, and it's changed, and you're having to deal with the fact that, yo, my time is running out. I'm not good. It's a wrap. You know what I mean? I don't recognize this thing in its form. You know what I mean? And when you express what you know to be your values, you feel me? It sometimes comes off like, yo, I don't respect, one, I don't value, two, I don't see, three, you dudes, you know what I mean? And I think that's not always the case. You feel me?
Man, personally, I understand where it comes from. Like, most of the time, I get it. It's like, I feel like they feel like that, or maybe they come across that way because what they basically trying to say is, we had to take 50 more steps than you had to just to get to where you just got to right now, off of just like trolling somebody on the internet.
Right.
That's fair. I mean, it's the truth. You guys worked way harder than we had to.
Right.
We just had to get on the internet and just figure it out and learn how to, do this and that.
Right.
You guys had to literally be on the streets and selling your CDs hand to hand.
Right.
So I understand. I understand where it comes from. Sometimes it doesn't come across very well.
No, I mean, of course. I mean, and I think the reason this thing is called Bridging the Gap, right, is that is exactly what a lot of us want to see. The idea that, yo, man, I don't want an artist to have to go 10 years before they understand what a contract looks like, or what you know what I mean? I want that you want people to get smarter a little easier, get to the point, you know what I mean? Get to that point a little quicker. But some of what's lost in that is that, yo, in that time where you were learning the craft, right? Cats are coming out uncooked. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's not ready, bro. And I know it sounds like a terrible thing to say to someone, to say, yo, man, it's not ready, because
it was easy.
It was, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, I mean, when you cut, it's almost like saying, yo, I'm cutting out. We're cutting out 8 years of high school. We're going straight to work. You know what I mean? And
it's good and bad.
It's good and bad. You can have a Kobe Bryant who came from high school straight to the NBA, or a Nasty Seals, like, from high school, or you can have a lot of, you know what I mean? A lot of dead space in your timeline. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know where I stand in that little. I don't even know what to call it. I don't even know where I stand, man. I'm kind of like in the middle, because thinking about me just like being a part of that young wave that didn't have to work as hard as you guys had to. It's like, I don't understand why some of the old heads try to make us feel guilty for having it that easy.
I got you.
It's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad
But
thing.
at the same time, I understand where the old heads are coming from, because most of the new kids that are coming up, it's so easy for them to come up. It's like they don't even appreciate what it takes to get that good or to be on that level. It's just so easy for them. Even some of them just get like a pass and they're not even that good. So I get where the old heads are coming from, and I get where the young ones are coming from. So.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing about, like, the beautiful thing about life is, even if the thing you're learning is not learning how to, rap the way we did, or learning the game the way we did. There are new things that you're gonna have to learn about your own game that are just as hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
And if you don't get those right, you know what I mean. So I think either way, there's always learning and challenges ahead. You know what I mean?
Different channels.
I think so. But I think in conclusion, I just want to say, man, like, I think it's really exciting for someone like me, and I think I speak for a lot of older heads, or even just fans of hip hop, that I can listen to a song of yours with A$AP Ferg, right, and then also catch a freestyle of yours, you know what I mean, and when you totally body it, and I'm like, yo, I feel good about myself. I feel good about the game. I feel like we are right. You know what I'm saying? I think I speak for a lot of people, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
You know what I mean?
I appreciate it.
Bless up, King.